I've divided it into an outcome component, and I've divided it into a process component. The outcome component, I think, is the one that we think about most easily, most frequently. What are we producing? What knowledge are we generating with our research? When we started doing research at UBC with a group of people on how students can learn from the mistakes they make, we discovered that the way they think about the mistakes and talk about the mistakes to themselves was a very important predicting factor in understanding how much they would learn from their own mistake. So that's an outcome. And that will affect the way we try to teach that material in subsequent classes. The material being, how do you learn from your mistakes? So that was good. That's a good outcome. And we had a few other things too that were very useful to us in understanding complexity and understanding what works, all of that stuff I was mentioning before. At the same time, in that research, like in a lot of SoTL research, we interviewed students. We interviewed them at some length, and we started by asking them to describe for us a recent mistake they had made. And we asked them to describe how they thought about that mistake, how they talked to themselves about it, whether they had learned from it, what circumstances had increased or decreased the likelihood they would learn from it, and so on. I love those questions. And I did not do the interviews. It was wiser to have some of our graduate students do the interviews. This was work with graduate students also as research participants. But reading the transcripts, talking with our graduate student interviewers afterwards, was tremendously helpful for us as teachers. In other words, the process of doing SoTL research yielded as much for us as the outcomes. There are things about that I like a great deal. One of them is, if you're not completely outcome dependent, then you don't get nervous about your results. You don't think, well, if they don't give us gems, it will have been a waste of time. If our experimental group does not outperform the control group on the common final exam, we will have wasted our time, both with the intervention and with the research. I've never believed that. And it dawned on me that one of the things that has kept me excited about SoTL research for these years is that it engages people in processes that I'm very, very happy that they're engaged in. Whether the outcomes take them where they want to go, they're thinking about, they're investigating, they're acting upon their teaching in ways that before the SoTL movement took hold, they weren't doing.